Hey, thanks for tuning in to the 2 Cents Podcast. I'm Nino. First of all, thank the man upstairs for waking me up this morning to get out on my journey, try to be productive, see what the day brings me. Continue, thank the Lord for having me healthy, be able to go about my business. Please, people, continue to subscribe. I'm loving up subscriptions. I appreciate you on that. To all my followers, my audience, and my fans, thank you very much. Appreciate your time, appreciate your generosity, and appreciate you investing, faith and time in me to listen to my channel. Appreciate you a lot. I'm going to get right to it. Pros and cons of spoiling your woman. It was a topic that came to me and was very interesting. I think it's this young man who has his eyes on this woman that he eventually want to start a relationship, I believe a friendship, evolving into something serious and possibly marriage. But he's a good type of kid. He's been brought up well, and he was asking me, hey, I want to give this woman, but I was brought up and I had seen a lot through my father and how he did my mother, that spoiling a woman, I'm just wondering, is it cool? Is it okay? What are the do's and don'ts? What are the do's and don'ts? What are the pros and cons? So I'm going to give my little advice and, just let the chips fall where they may. You can have a positive and negative consequences reasoning behind spoiling your partner. Starting off as a friendship, maybe a mate, or even on the marital tip. The levels within the relationship and what kind of individuals you are spoiling. What kind of individual you are, the one that's doing the spoiling, and what kind of individual this female is, the one that's receiving the spoiling, So that's already right there is one situation that you have to check out, because to men, every woman I know doesn't deserve to be spoiled, because as we will see as I continue in the podcast, a lot of women know how to accept it, but we also know that kindness can be weakness. People will prey on your kindness. So I'm going to put that out there right then and there. And just no knock to the ladies. Every woman doesn't deserve to be spoiled. Many of them do, but every woman doesn't deserve to be spoiled, because really they have been brought up a certain way where they're looking at spoiling can be a way of manipulating and getting what they want. And if the spoiling doesn't continue, then you will see a whole nother side of that sweet little lady or female that you started off knowing. All of a sudden, it'd be like it went from Jekyll to Hyde. Eventually it'll be a situation where you'll see the woman have this turn that quick, has been a turncoat. At first she was just so nice, so respectful and things, and then once again, when she didn't get or continue to get what she want, then you'll see her true colors will come out. First of all, the pros. Showing love and appreciation. Spoil your partner because it is an act of love and enjoying the infectious energy that's brought about. That certainly can tighten the strands of a bond between partners. It's not nothing wrong with a man spoiling his woman, because like I said, it shows love and affection. It shows that he's all in with this woman. As far as a man, he's just trying to do his duty. Again, a lot of men show chivalry and very respectful, but it's not nothing wrong with spoiling your female. Now, I will say this, me personally, I see in today's societal norms, mostly of the spoiling usually be from an older gentleman to a younger, attractive female. I don't see too much a male spoiling a female and they're kind of the same age or nothing like that. I don't see that too much. Of course, it has been done, but if I had to bet on the house, and if I had to bet everything that I have, I believe that is more of an older gentleman, or a gentleman somewhat definitely older, or have been brought up differently toward a young female as far as the spoiling. Rather is, it's a big age gap, rather than they are close together, or they're closely in age preference between each other. Basically say if they're the same age, I really haven't seen that in a long time. Even if they've been in a relationship, on the friendship tip and dating, not even in a marital status, I haven't seen that with basically the same age in a long time. So just to throw that out there. But again, it could be wrong. I'm pretty sure anything's possible. So it is possibly a man out there the same age as his lady friend that is spoiling her. I haven't seen it, and you personally asked my opinion, so I haven't seen it. It's an older to younger thing. Boosting the relationship satisfaction. When a partner feels adored, never taken for granted, regarded always to the highest of standards, relationships thrives, grows deeper, leading to communication, touching bases, and longer emotional connection. I mean, who doesn't want attention? And we always know women love attention. But I always mention that one thing when it comes to any kind of relationship, whether it's a great relationship, whether it's a relationship that's started, even in a toxic relationship, communication. There's good communication, there's bad communication, there's positive communication, there's negative communication. But always communication is the key. But anybody who wants to be showed attention and adored and seem like they are a high priority as far as a man feeling towards a woman, of course it's going to build a deeper connection, because a woman, again, wants to be preferred, specialized, and one of the main priorities, or one of the main everyday ways of life, or how a man goes by his business when his to-do list on his everyday agenda of conducting himself through life. He has to go to work, he has to take care of his bills, but you think that woman don't want to be high up on that list? Of course she does. So there it goes with always, boosting relationship satisfaction. Encouraging positive growth. A partner with a top tier, meaning a woman, a partner with top tier requirements, of course, wants to invest her time in a man with top tier requirements. A woman that expected high standards, she wants a man that's going to spoil her, that has high standards. A woman that's used to Prada, that's used to Gucci, that's used to the best, Fendi, Rihanna's clothing line, high price clothing lines like that. This high price, necessities, period. She expects a man that wants the finer things in life. So, in the man saying that, with the man spoiling her, she wants him to get her the best things, that can be gotten, to bring her the best of the pick of the, pick of the crop. She wants the cream of the crop. She wants the best of the thing. And by doing that, she expects her man to also aim high and always want the best of the things, because a woman that's being spoiled wants her man to have the certain financial capabilities to be able to contain her spoilness. You can't, spoiling a woman is going, it's several levels to this. When the woman is talking about spoiling, she's not talking about going to Dollar General or Family Dollar and getting her some things. No, that's chumping. The part of spoiling she's talking about, that just keep it a buck, is high dollar spoiling. So if you're going to spoil her, then she wants the best of things, because remember, you're spoiling her. And a lot of times, I can't lie, women don't ask to be spoiled. It's kind of like men start that. So just remember, fellas, when you start this spoiling, you be able to know you got the finances to keep up with this, because again, a lot of times when you start something, you have to be able to maintain and keep up with it, what you done started. And if you fall off, and then you're going to see a certain difference in that woman's attitude and how she carry herself around you, especially. Number 4 of the pros and cons. Number 4 of the pros. Building a high energy home environment. A happy wife or a happy partner, referring to the female, can radiate high energy. The constant thought of being cherished. If you're a wife or partner, bringing joy and peace into the home, thumbs up for the whole household. Well, we also know that, but it just not go for a wife. If a woman stand with you, if you keep her happy, it's a great thing. And spoiling is a lot of way of keeping her happy. I mean, the attitude is good. You're going to have great sex. You know, the sex game is going to be just, you know, second to none, because she's happy. She's content. She's not going to even be nagging all the time, because, again, she is showing, or you are showing, that you are one of her main preferences, and she is reading that. She is looking for that. So you keep her happy, bring her little intricacies and little chains and things like that, even sometimes if just the smallest of things. You know, if you bring it to her, because again, she is keeping tabs on this, fellas. Believe it, women are keeping tabs on this. A woman might tell you or try to put in your head that she's not worried about that, or she's not keeping up the score with this, but she's keeping tabs on this, because most women are very intuitive, and they sit back and watch and pay attention to everything, whether it's good or bad. So again, a happy wife is a happy life if you're married. A happy female partner is a great relationship that's going to continue growing from a friendship to dating or whatever, if it is a non-marital status. So you just have to, you know, remember again that key word. Be able to keep up what you start, because if you don't, things will change, and I'm speaking personally on that. Informative and valuable lessons to children. Children observing and adoring, respectful and awful thought of when it comes to basic partners or both partners, or even if they married in a marital status, on dating or living together or staying together, whatever status it is, can learn that a healthy relationship consists of they store it in their memory bank, take it with them into their future relationships. Of course, kids are looking at what they see. So whether you're married, if you're spoiling your wife, that your kids are going to take that and they see that's working, especially if it's no problem. This is non-volatile, if it's non-confrontational, and you guys are getting along, they're going to see it's cool like that, and they're going to, again, store that in their memory bank, and then when they grow up and have future relationships that they're intending to get or delve off into, then they will take that process of spoiling and say it worked, because kids are looking at do's and don'ts too. Even if you're not married and your kids are around, say your female that you're spoiling has kids, you know, and you have kids, and that y'all kids are not, you know, y'all kids are not from each other. Both sides of the kids are watching that, and if it's working and it's keeping happiness and joy, they're, you know, writing that down. Again, they keeping it and they looking at, well, this is what I can take into my relationship, because again, kids are only looking at what they'll see their protectors, their grown-ups around them, what they'll do. They are taking great information. They are taking quality traits and quality characteristics from what they see, and when they grow up and become full grown-ups and mature, they will remember that. So kids don't forget nothing. Remember, what you do in front of kids' eyes, they might not say nothing, but they never forget it. But if you're spoiling your mate, your wife, in front of your kids, and it's kudos and it's working greatly, they're going to remember that. And when they start a relationship, I guarantee you, that's going to be one of the keys that they take with them and never, never forget. Now, here goes the cons of spoiling your partner or your wife. That was the pros, that was the good side, but to every good side, there also comes a bad side, or a side to make you say, maybe I need to slow down on this. Becoming expected and taken advantage of. Well, of course, yeah. Spoiling, especially being extra with the spoiling. Let me say that again. Spoiling, one thing, but going extra and being extra with the spoiling, it can lead to the partner's expectations of gifts and favors. In return, loss of appreciation, turning into greed and taking advantage of. Well, no more is appreciation, because now, just what I said, the woman has got greedy. She thinks she got the man wrapped around her finger. See, it's no more, I love him, and I'm not saying, I'm deeply emotionally gratified to him, and I appreciate what he do. Now, it's all about a narcissistic kind of way, it's for my gain. That's why when you give gifts, you got to watch out. And when you do a lot of favors, you got to watch out, because people, again, will take your kindness and prey on it like a weakness, even when it comes to your woman, because she's seeing one thing. When she say jump, and then you say ha, she already like, well, I got him wrapped around my finger. He would do anything. So it's no more emotional love. It's like, okay, now what can I gain to it? And whether you're a woman, man, child, or whatever, if they see they got one up on you, or two up on you, meaning they see that they got you, over a barrel, whether they seeing that you will do anything they ask, no matter what, you will drop anything that you're doing just to please them, and just to always have their satisfaction, first at hand. Then they will use it to the best of their ability, and it's sad like that. That's why you got to be kind of cautious with this spoiling thing, because it can be a great thing. It can be a great showing of emotional and appreciation to your partner, but it also can turn into toxic behavioral patterns, and that's one of them. Spoiling can also, a lot of time, when you go extra overboard with it, buying gifts and doing a lot of favors, it can turn into love, it can turn from love into straight manipulation. Developing dependence and narcissism. This is how I just said. Addiction or being spoiled surfaces from a need of outside validation. Insecurity. Desperately wanting security. Bringing on narcissism tendencies, a hindrance in self-worth. See, there it goes right there. Now, the one that's getting spoiled, they really have lower self-esteem themselves. See, and then a lot of times you got to look at it, man. If you have spoiled or begin spoiling this woman, she has never had treatment like this. So she's going to already think, her light bulb going to come on and think, okay, what's behind this? Because she has never had that kind of treatment. If anything, she probably was the one doing the spoiling, because it is a lot of women that spoil men. So now she's kind of feeling uncomfortable, because she's just not used of getting this kind of treatment. And when you do things for people, especially spoiling, this woman is looking, okay, so what comes with this spoiling? Since he's doing all this, he can't just be genuine, and he's, he has a certain feeling of admiration and wanted to go into love and possibly be long-term with me. What is it that he's really out for doing all this spoiling? Because she's not used to that. What I'm trying to say, nothing is free. So with you doing all of this spoiling, especially extra with it, the woman continues saying, okay, so what do I have to do? What do I have to get out of my normal routine? And so she thinking now, is you doing this because you're trying to use this to be a narcissist or manipulative and being controlling. You know, since you are doing all this spoiling towards her and showing all this, but really in the long run, what is this all about? Is you gonna try to control her? Is you gonna try to, tell her what to do all the time? And women don't want, well, nobody really want to be like that. Women don't mind being led, but then, they don't want to be controlled. And so what does that, what she just trying to figure out what is really behind all of this. And so now she has, her antennas up thinking, even probably asking you, why are you spoiling me so much? What's really behind this? What are you trying to gain for it? Because again, a lot of women have never been down that road and they have been insecure, and a woman just wants security. So if you're doing this for me, because she's usually going down the path of, as I said, when somebody does something a lot of times that's beneficial, whether it's financially or this, so-called being nice, what in return does she have to do? Leading to an imbalance or resentments. Spoiling best accepted or best managed as far as emotions in a relationship in large has to be two-way. It has to be two-sided. It has to be reciprocated. Giving with kindness on both sides. I have always said that, giving with kindness on both sides. If it becomes one-sided, immediate resentment, feeling of inequity from one partner, or feeling not equal from one partner, most times the one who's doing all the giving, they the one that feel like they getting used. Always give it, but never receive. But I have said that. You can't be always the giver. If you start out spoiling, please watch this. Just because this is a big thing. And I know a lot of time, a lot of people expect, especially men, when they start out spoiling a woman, and then again, I go back to that, what was one of the pros. Now, this is the con. When you start out spoiling, make sure you be able to maintain that financially, but make sure you be able to maintain it emotionally and how your feelings get, because you want that reciprocated. Or maybe you spoiling her and she can't spoil you back, but maybe she's not loving you like you want to be loved. Maybe she is not acting the way like you want to be. You're spoiling her and you thinking she should be doing things, to show her love for you, and maybe she's not doing that. But see, again, that what falls into when you start spoiling people, and then you expect something for the spoiling, because spoiling should be genuine. It shouldn't be spoiling and then I expect something in return, because it never ends up that way. You have to be able to spoil, and then no matter how your female act, whether she's more loving or what you want her to be as far as the relationship emotionally and the connection y'all trying to make, it shouldn't bother you. You should be able to take it, because, let's keep it buck. When a person, even a man, is giving to a woman a lot, and he's doing it not only a lot, but he is doing it big time, and he's been doing it, many days, months and everything. He expects her to be, not so much where you can give it back to me, but, make me first the priority as far as the man, because he's showing his emotion. What I'm trying to say is he's showing his love and devotion by spoiling her, but she is not giving back, but you can't make her. See, that's one of the cons of it. That's why you got to be, that spoiling can be dangerous. Also, it comes in the fact, and one of the pros is also who you spoil. You can't spoil every person, because, especially when it comes to a female, because every female is not the perfect candidate for that. They're not used to that. They're not, that was a bad choice. And now you already started something, and now if you have feelings of where you're not getting back what you giving, then now you feeling some kind of way. So now, you tripping. But, you know, it goes that way. You know, you can give. But if you ain't receiving, now all of a sudden, you supposed to be spoiling this woman because it is from your heart and it's genuine. But you looking at it like, well, I'm doing this. I'm buying her all kind of, I'm taking care of her bills, or I'm buying her cars. I'm always showing things, I'm giving her all kind of jewelry and things. And then she's still acting her same old way. Or she comes back to you in a certain way where, I didn't ask you to do this, so I'm not going to act any different. My main thing I'm trying to say is you doing all that spoiling, and she is acting differently. She's not acting the way you wanted to act. So that's another cons of spoiling your partner. Fostering materials in relationships. Concentrating on materials, spoiling, yet looms the loss of genuineness and love and emotional connection. Not everything is superficial. Can't buy love for long term. You sure can't. You can't buy love anyway. And when you make it superficial and about, material things, I think most of the time women not going to say nothing, but in the back of their mind, they go from really genuinely loving you to, okay, then, well, if he does this for me, he would do this for any woman. That's another thing that can be a con of spoiling a woman, because they're saying also, if he's spoiling me, then he will spoil another woman. And let's keep it again, straight facts. Women don't like to be compared or competition against another woman. My meaning, okay, if you spoiling me, I guarantee you this woman is going to bring this question up to you fellas. If you spoiling me, how many other women have you spoiled? Because that's how women think. They are so competitive against each other. The one woman certainly doesn't want to be done like you did the prior woman. The one woman, women want to be in this category where, okay, if you had 2 or 3 women and, you all went down the same road, what makes me special, what's going to get her emotionally gratified and turn her emotions up is you treating me differently than all the women that you have dealt with. And that comes with the spoiling. Because again, you can't be superficial. It can't be all about materials. And a lot of way it is. That's another cons of that spoiling. It's a dangerous game. And I know men really be genuine because they're just trying to show that you really like and admire the woman. But I see on the other end why a lot of people say, no, don't start out buying gifts. Don't start out giving gifts. Because it gives a false, it gives out false emotions. It gives out a false outlook as far as the woman looking at you, because she also thinking, you spoiling me. Why are you doing this so fast? We haven't even been together this long, and you already buying me all kind of material things and superficial things. So that can raise red flags. Much as spoiling can be a beautiful thing, spoiling can generate and bring up a plethora of red flags. And I do mean a plethora. The last and little things I'm going to say about spoiling a woman as far as the cons is creating conflict and unhappiness. When an individual has fell into a lifestyle of being spoiled. Let me repeat that again. When an individual has fell into a lifestyle of being spoiled, they become proactive with temper tantrums, anger episodes. No appreciation is exhibited anymore. More like demanding when their needs and their requests aren't met. In return, conflicts are now not the norm. Conclusion, the ending of a relationship. Well, it's just like it's a baby, or anybody else. When you done spoiled her, Now, if you don't move or give them what they want, they are so used to getting yes. They are so used to getting, okay, what I tell you do, what I want, you're going to put it down there and present it to me. You're going to bring it to the table. You're going to put it on the floor. You're going to put it right down there. And when you stop there, well, there go the temper tantrums. Major episodes are going to start. Acting out comes in effect. You can't keep up something and then all of a sudden cut it off, and then you can't expect that it's not going to be no toxicity when you do that, because it is. Because, see, really, it's your fault, because you have turned this nice little girl or this woman until now what you see is a monster, because you have been so much yes, yes, yes to them, and they don't know the word of no, no, no. So now when they don't get what they want, everything is out the window. Their emotions gone. So, and I know as men, now that's another one of the cons, and us as men, we thinking to this woman, I can't believe this woman is acting like this because I told her no. And how many times I done told her yes, but she's only adapting to what she's used to. You have, like I said, she's an adaptation of her habitation. She's adapting to what the habits that you have brought on by spoiling her. That's why, again, it can be a con. So, it's certain ways, and I get it. You like a woman, one of the things you want to show her about it, because it's chivalry as the pros, you want to show her you like her, by respect, chivalry, open the door, having mannerisms and all that, but you want to show her you're totally invested in her and want to spend time with her by getting her things, but don't get her things too quickly, because, well, as I just mentioned, that was the pros. The cons of it is women will turn it, when you spoil them, into manipulation. They will lose love. It will become superficial. It will become materialistic. When you have been getting them, spoil them all this time, and all of a sudden you might tell them no, and it's not because you don't have the money or nothing. You've been doing it so long, you really want to see how this woman feeling about you, so you turn them no, and then again, that's when that little old nice sweetie will turn into this, this very not nice person, evil. I might even say evil person, because they're not getting what they want. Narcissism comes in everything. That's why it's dangerous spoiling a woman, because everybody is not the perfect candidate or the perfect people for the position of getting spoiled. So you have to watch yourself. It's a crazy thing. It's not nothing wrong with spoiling, but then again, it can be critical in spoiling. The pros and cons of spoiling a woman. It can work, but then it can come back and grab you in the keister. You can build something healthy, constructional, and long-term. Then you can go through a phase of being manipulated, seen as a lame, moving too fast, wondering what's really behind, spoiling. A lot of anger comes in effect. A lot of anger comes in effect. The end of your relationship, and then you're back to square one. You don't have no woman. You don't have no interest. All that spoiling you did was for naught. The pros and cons of spoiling a woman. 2 Cents Podcast. I'm Nino. Thank you. God bless.